Man, do you know what time it is? Because I'm looking at my watch right now. I think I know what time it is, but do you know what time it is, Lionel?
Here, let me look around. Where I put my clock? I think it's hold on, I'm looking. Up there it is. There it is.
Oh,
It is time for this week's episode of Off the Top Rope.
oh yeah.
Before it comes down and hits me with that flying elbow,
Ooh.
I need y'all to make sure you're following us on Blue Sky. Prophet's on there all the time. You get a lot of really good content on there. Prophet gives his opinions. It's a really good place to interact with us. So if you're not following us there already, please do. And while you're running around, while you're going out in town, you're shopping, while you're I don't know, while you're playing a video game, if you're addicted to Path of Exile like I am, make sure if you can't watch us on YouTube, that you listen to our podcast on Podbean and Spotify. We are on both. Off the Top Rope goes there every week. So if you can't get us on YouTube, make sure you go over there and listen to us there and do all the things, share it with all your friends, and do all that kind of stuff. Tell us about the YouTube, Prophet.
All right. So for my YouTube warriors, I know you're out there. I know you're listening. All right, guys. So if you like the podcast as you listen to it right now, or as you're listening to it later on, tap that like button. It for sure helps us out, helps out the algorithm, saying, yes, people want to watch the greatest and listen to the greatest podcast that's out there right now. And also subscribe and hit the bell button because it not only gives you it not only gets you the current episodes of Off the Top Rope when they come out, it also gives you our other shows, which are the OVA, where we talk about anime, and the Command Grab, where we talk about video games. So with all that, it's just worth it. Just subscribe, hit the bell button, and yeah, let's get to the show.
Man. All right. So before we talk about AEW, and I know I said we're gonna talk about New Japan. We'll talk about New Japan next week. All right.
Yeah,
Look.
yeah.
It's been a busy time. We are both busy men. We can't as much as I love sitting down and doing these podcasts all the time. I wish I could. We can't. So we will be talking about Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Dynasty next week. But before we talk about AEW, we got to talk about now that the two major companies in America are on their streaming platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Monday Night Raw is up there now. We got that show on Monday. Now AEW, all their shows are on Max. We're in the streaming area, and before I'm gonna turn it over to Prophet because Prophet wanted to talk a little bit about what happened this week in WWE.
Oh God, man. Oof. Oof.
That should tell you. That
So
should tell you how this is gonna go.
first off, for the listeners that are huge WWE fans, you probably ain't gonna want to hear this. Um, but those shows were awful. Like streaming the WWE on Raw on Netflix was not good. And it's just oh man, 4 matches in 3 hours? Maybe like five in 3 hours? That's terrible for one. 20, 30 minute segments of people talking in the ring is not great. Um, the wrestling matches that were there were all rushed. It just did not feel good. And then on top of that, you had the Hulkster brother come out there and embarrass himself. And poor Jimmy Hart, man. The only person that got fucked out of this whole situation was Jimmy Hart. He was 80 years old, waving the flag around, getting booed out the fucking building because of asshole Hogan. And the funny thing is the aftermath. All these places like trying to play it coy, saying we don't know why Hulk Hogan got booed. Motherfucker, you all know why. We all know why. He's a piece of shit. Sheik said it best. Fuck Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fuck him. If Sheik was alive today, we would get an hour thing of him laughing at him. On top of him talking that big shit right now too, because everybody Hogan exposed himself. So look, it's even to the point where Mark Henry was like, "Hey, I will fucking help you out, get your image better," and Hogan was like, "No." He's like, "All right."
Well, Hogan wouldn't want help from a black man, so
No, no.
you know.
But all right. And now he gets to tell everybody, and it's like, oh, well, like I'm not surprised. And he's like, yo, guess what? It ain't going away. So now they're going to do this magnificent thing and turn, quote unquote, have Hogan turn heel on the crowd. And then going to act like, hey, see, the boos are because he's a bad guy now. It's like, no, the boos are like, there's like the actual like performer gets heat boos, and then there's the get the fuck out of the building boos. The Hogan one is to get the fuck out of the building boo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um. So yeah, like wasn't a great show. I feel bad for all the performers on the show though. Like he kind of brought. Unfortunately, him coming out and doing that thing made everybody focus on how shitty he was versus everybody that was like, trying to do a show. And on top of that, Penta probably got his first taste of WWE life because he was supposed to debut on that show, and now he's debuting next week. They completely cut him out of the show.
I mean, look, WWE has their audience; they can do whatever they want, right?
They can do what they want.
But the fact of the matter is, their first show on Netflix that I'm still getting ads for to this day on everything that I'm going to. When I go on Netflix to watch now my Korean dramas, because my sister got me into that bullshit.
Oh no!
I know, it's crazy. They're actually pretty good. They're pretty good, bro. It's actually
they're pretty fucking good,
man. I see them on there. In the story of Raw on Netflix was Hogan. It wasn't anything else that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so look, you guys can enjoy what you want to enjoy. We are not here to take away your joy. If that was your wrestling experience, all for it. I prefer for the problematic people to either be quiet or be out, and I know there's still problematic people everywhere you go, but I feel like we shouldn't be platforming them. And AEW also had that problem last year too, but realistically, bro, Hogan, why are they even turning Hogan heel anyway? Who cares? Y'all have some of the best wrestlers on the planet. Like, you have some great people. Use that time for them. Y'all are stuck trying to do nostalgia bait 90s shit. Figure something else out.
Yeah, you literally have some of the best wrestlers in the world. Men's and women's wrestlers.
Yes.
Use their strengths. Like, there was a small period where you guys were doing that, and people were like, "Oh shit, I dig this," and then you just went away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, you were having Gunther out there wrestling like wrestling like a monster out there,
Fucking people up.
Yeah, like that shit was good. People like that. People outside of the WWE ecosphere, right? Because they got their own ecosystem, but like it started attracting some people, and then you guys went away from that, and it was like, ugh, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like what you all like, but having Hogan out there was not a good look at all.
Really wasn't.
You could have picked other legends. Like, look, they tried to pin it on, oh, it's because he supported Donald Trump. It's not because of that. Fucking Undertaker openly supports him. He got cheered. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not because of that. Most people did not give a fuck about that. Like in the wrestling sphere, right? No, they know him as a human being is a literal piece of garbage, right? That's That's what it boils down to. Hogan's a piece of shit. You think everybody's going to forgive and forget? Oh, hell no. They see this motherfucker saying, all this stuff, putting himself in the spotlight and all that, all that shit, talking some big bullshit. What do you think's going to happen when he pops out of there?
Exactly.
So, Raw wasn't great. The main event was CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, with Punk going over, and then at the end, cutting a thing is like, "Oh, you guys think I'm finished?" and all that stuff, right?
Corporate man Punk.
And that's pretty much what it means. Well, he had a mid-match, and was acting like it was the best thing ever. Whatever. Like the Cody versus Seth matches were way better. Just saying. But yeah, it overall, there's a lot of time I try to, not speak a whole lot of negative about WWE, because I know, it's a little flame war when you do. But sometimes it just has to be called out. The show was not even great. It wasn't mid. It wasn't mid. You just, you'd have some likable things about it. No, it just wasn't great. It wasn't great at all. It was just plain bad. And for a first episode, I don't know if this is what they're going to keep doing. Whew, yeah. I think some of you guys in WWE need to go hey, can I go to Pro Wrestling Noah for a bit? Get the Omos deal going. At least you'll be out there wrestling.
Yeah, it's something, right?
Yeah.
Anything. But yeah, man. Look, we got that out of the way. Y'all know how we feel about WWE. Y'all know how we feel about Raw and Netflix. You know how we feel about Hulk Hogan. But do y'all know how we feel about this week in AEW? I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
No.
Prophet, what do you think about just in general? What do you think about this week at AEW?
I'll tell you this. I really like Dynamite.
Oh, we gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it.
Talk about it. And Collision. I liked it all the way to a certain point.
I'm guessing that we had the same point, and I put it on Blue Sky that if I wasn't the one talking about Collision on this podcast, I probably would have not watched that part. It went over to New Japan Battle in the Valley earlier than I did.
Yeah, if it was around main event time, yes.
Yes, it was.
Okay, yeah. I liked everything but the main event.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna talk about it. We are gonna talk about it. But first, we gotta talk about that AEW Dynamite.
Man, if I could do my best impression of Rob from Comics Explained, I would.
man, oh man.
Man. Let me tell you something, man. This week in AEW Dynamite,
that actually was pretty good.
Shout out to Rob from Comics Explained. We love you over there. Okay, so the first match. I don't know how AEW does this, man. There was a pay-per-view level match at the beginning of Dynamite.
God bless.
They started out fucking hot, man. So it was Buddy Matthews versus Will Ospreay. You can put that on any card and it's a banger. There was a lot that happened in this match, but it was a lot of show. This match was a lot to showcase what Buddy Matthews can do in singles competition, and kind of further getting him away from the House of Black.
Oh, bro, we will be talking about that.
Yeah, we're gonna call it what it is right now, right? But Man, so I'm not gonna completely go through this match, but there were some points where um where these guys were going back and forth and just doing reversal after reversal, and then hitting a giant move, and then getting up and then going crazy again. Like before, listen to this, right? So before, like, Osprey hit Buddy with the Styles Clash, right?
Mm-hmm.
Osprey hits an Oz Cutter, um, and then he's about to go for the Hidden Blade. Buddy ducks the Hidden Blade, um, and then Osprey, he chopped Buddy. Buddy then proceeds to beat the living shit out of Osprey, and then Osprey goes for an Oz Cutter again. He blocks it. Buddy blocks it, curb stomps Osprey, covers him from a near fall. Osprey gets up, hits Buddy with the Styles Clash, gets a 2 count, then hits him with the Hidden Blade, and then gets the 3 count. That was like in the last 2 minutes of the match.
So damn good.
It was fucking excellent. And so just knowing that, spread that out between the whole match, and that happened a lot throughout the match. So damn good. It was an excellent match. And at the end, Osprey got the mic and he was like, "Hey, we've all we admired you from afar. I'll just say the quote." He's like, he first looks at the crowd and goes, "Give it up for Buddy Matthews. I've admired you from afar, and I could tell you this for a fact. I've wrestled you and Brody King, and neither of you need to follow a leader. Uh-oh. You could do it by yourself, and I can see tag gold in both of your futures or singles gold if you really want it. If you ever need a man in your corner, buddy, I'm your guy." So not only are they dropping that hint that Malachi is going back to WWE, they also kind of shit on him at the same time.
Let let me tell you. Let me tell you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna start off like it's gonna sound like a little bit of tension, but I'm gonna start off with a match that I was at live. I saw live Okada versus Buddy Matthews when it was at Battle in the Valley a couple years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I was there. I paid premium front row tickets. I still haven't recovered. When I was there, a lot of us were talking like in that section, we're talking about how good Buddy is, and we were excited to see what he does next, right?
Right.
We didn't know where he was gonna go. Everyone kind of assumed at that point, like AEW, sure, because he wasn't there yet. He would show up a few weeks later, I believe. But
Yep.
everyone was so excited about Buddy and seeing what he was doing. Right. We fast forward. Buddy is definitely like a background character right now in House of Black. Low key. I'm not low key. He's not really a background character, but in House of Black, he's like it feels like he's like the fourth most important person in it, and he probably has like one of the best wrestling abilities in House of Black.
Yes.
Straight up, right? So seeing this from Osprey, and it's not only about like Buddy. Also, a lot of this has been talked about Brody lately. Also, right? Even Finley in New Japan for the press conference last week for Wrestle Dynasty was saying the same thing, albeit he's being a lot more of an asshole about it, but doing the same thing, right? It's been time for Buddy and Brody and Julia to step up and do their own thing. The one thing that I hope though, if they do keep the three of them together, what I want to see, I want to see either Julia be the leader of this, whatever the next iteration of this is going to be, or if they're not going to do their thing, let them go off and do their own thing, because all three of them are fantastic. And the fact that they're using this time to like low key kind of it's low key kind of shitting on Malachi at the same time.
Yeah.
Is kind of hilarious, and I don't have no hate towards Malachi Black. I think he's fantastic. If he wants to go back to WWE, if he wants to leave wrestling as a whole, albeit like he has done good things while he's around AEW, but at the same time, they're right. Buddy, Brody, and Julia deserve to do a lot more than they have so far.
Yeah, we'll probably get to it on the Collision part of it, but they are pretty much held back by the fact that, like, when's the last time you've seen all of them on Dynamite? Right? Like, all of them at the same time. Yeah, you guys, not very long. You don't. Not really. They were stuck. They're pretty much stuck on Collision. If you're going to see all of the House of Black. So it's I think it's time, and yeah, it would be cool to see if Julia Hart took the reins of it. And I have my opinions on where another possibility that might come up, but we'll see. But yeah, it's good, and yeah, Buddy and Brody King are both monsters, dude. They could go for tag gold or they can go for singles gold. I 100% see Buddy as a international champion.
He would be so good as an international champion, bro.
Easily. Like there's no question.
With how that division is right now, like with how that division has been built, he fits in there perfectly.
Yeah, he fits in there like a glove. That guy is perfect for the international championship. Brody King can go anywhere. He's literally a threat wherever the fuck he goes. Like, you want him as a TNT champion? Yeah, he could be the monster in the a monster TNT champion. You want him to go for a world title? Okay, he could be a monster going for the world title. Doesn't matter. Brody King can, like, he wherever it is, he's just a goddamn monster, and he could just do it. And then those two together in the tag division, they're another, like, a monster tag team with a different feel. They're not like Lance Archer and Brian Cage. They're a different type, right? They're more like violent than those two guys, right? So it's just like a different kind of beast right there. So yeah, and then Julia Hart, she could do her thing in the women's division. Whether it goes for the TBS or later on go for the world championship, it doesn't matter. It's just the sky's the limit for her.
I fully agree. Like it's definitely time, and like I said earlier, like we've touched on it too. It's the fact that everyone is talking about how good they would be without Malachi. Saying all of them are saying like you don't need a leader. Like Finley in New Japan was saying, y'all wear another man's name on your back and you don't have to. Like a lot of this definitely. At first, it was like, oh, one-off comment. Now, every time they're in the ring, every time they have a segment, this is happening. This is for sure on purpose now. Like, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So we'll see what happens with Malachi. And now that thing with Adam Cole from a few months ago makes a lot more sense now. Because I guess he had already decided at that point, more than likely. So they just did their thing, and they had the hug at the end. So it was coming. And then everyone thought that Malachi was more motivated. He definitely was just on the scout to do whatever he was going to do next. That's all that was. For sure. So we'll see what happens with him. But yeah, like we said, the rest of House of Black, whatever they do next, be it together or separate, they'll be for sure be able to do great things. No one doubts that. And it's past time for them to do this.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see. So like right after this fantastic match, we had Private Party come out for their championship victory celebration.
God damn it.
We're gonna get to something. We'll get to the Lionel. We'll get to why Lionel's goddamn it real quick. So, they talked about they were they made history being the first tag team, having the first tag team title match on Max and on TNT. And they're like, hey, we came in tag team champs, we left tag team champs. And they were talking about how they're about to celebrate their latest win when the theme song came on. And that theme song belonged to the Hurt Syndicate. The one song you don't want to hear.
We hurt people. We hurt people.
And MVP, of course, took the mic and he was like, hey, yo, we want to party too. How about we raise a toast to Private Party? And, MVP, I'm just going to quote what he said. He's like, I want to propose a toast to these incredible athletes who successfully defended these tag team championships. And Bobby's here to the Hurt Syndicate. And then Bobby Lashley is like taking those tag titles. And then Bobby Lashley goes to the ring. And they're like, oh no. You can see the fear in Private Party's eyes.
God damn it.
There's no way they're getting out of there alive. No way. Zero.
I saw all the disrespect that everyone was giving to Private Party. Everyone was like, oh, rip Private Party. Oh man, it sucks that they're losing titles so quick. I need all y'all to calm the hell down. Look, if no one else is gonna believe in Private Party, I'll be the ones to do it. Because I'm the only one who remembers that Her Syndicate are the heels here. So if I gotta do it, I'll cheer them later. I'll cheer them after this. But listen to me. I will be the one waving the flag for Private Party. I'll do it alone. I'll stand 10 toes down, and I'll do it by myself. If the Hurt Syndicate beats them, then I'll cheer for the Hurt Syndicate after. But for now, I'll be the driving force. I'll be the only one. It's fine.
You're praying for a miracle, my man.
No, I'm here for it. I'm gonna 10 toes down. I'm standing on it. I will be the only one to cheer for Private Party. I want Private Party to retain. If it doesn't happen, I'll worry about that after. I'll be against the internet on this one.
It's okay. You'll be cheering the Hurt Syndicate, though. It'll be fine.
Not until after this is over.
I'm more of the belief of they might be screwed. I'm just saying, like, unless they do a switcheroo, which, it's not Bobby and Shelton, it's MVP and Shelton Benjamin.
No, I think it's gonna be Bobby and Shelton.
Bobby ain't losing, dude. I'm just saying that right now. Unless it's like by a fucking miracle or divine intervention for Private Party, he's gonna kill them.
Divine intervention is gonna be me. Bobby's gonna try to do something. I'm gonna take the bullet for Private Party. I don't know how, or where, or why, but I'll slide in the ring. I'll give up my privileges to go to AEW shows to distract, to make sure that Private Party can find a way to get out of this somehow. I'll hold on to Bobby's foot and he'll just drag me to the ring and just toss me into the 8th row. I'll figure something out.
He's still gonna spear him and win. It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna figure it out. I don't know how, but I will.
And then you're gonna get like hit with MVP's cane.
I'm taking the beating, but like I said, I'm gonna be the one. I'll be the only one on the internet that will be 10 toes down for Private Party. I'll do it. I don't mind. I'm cool being by myself. I'll do it.
Hey, it's fine, man. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. But we can I'm not booing them yet, because we have that match that you're about to talk about, and I definitely was not booing them in that match. But after that, I'm in.
Hey, this match we had a thing where the Hurt Syndicate was right. Just saying. So right after this, when Bobby Lashley went to the ring, It was Bobby Lashley versus Mark Briscoe. MVP took commentary. And Shelton Benjamin, of course, was just standing there being Shelton Benjamin.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, what other way to say this than Lashley pretty much killed Mark Briscoe.
Yeah.
It was pretty one-sided. Mark Briscoe did get his stuff. He did a little redneck kung fu and caught Lashley off guard for a little bit. And there was one part where Briscoe slid under the ring to get a chair. And he had the chair in his hand, and Bobby looked under the ring, and Briscoe hits him with the chair from under the ring. And it's like, and MVP is like, hey, he cheated. He hit him with the chair. And they're like, oh, the ref didn't see it. I'm going to say something, and you know, if I sound upset, it's because I am. Literally a couple weeks, what was it? A couple weeks ago, World's End, MJF made a loud sound and said, oh my God, they hit me. And got everybody kicked out from the side of the ring. Just saying, Bobby Lashley legit got hit. And now on commentary, they're saying, well, the ref didn't see it. Well, the ref didn't see the other thing either. Be consistent with your reffing.
You know, you're right. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if I'm fighting Bobby Lashley,
yes,
I'm hitting the shit out of him with that chair. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna find a way to win. Will it work? No. But if I'm in there, look, I don't care if I'm a good guy, bad guy. I'm cheating. I'm gonna do what I can because Bobby gonna beat me up. I gotta figure something out because I'm not gonna just be able to fight him straight up. So good on you, Mark Briscoe. Get that heel.
it's fine because, like, you know, they slid in the ring. Briscoe, you know, did the froggy bow. Of course, Lashley kicked out at one, and he wasn't fazed by it. And then he proceeded to spear Mark Briscoe, then choke slam him, and then put him in the hurt lock, and it was over.
Yeah, the chair didn't work.
No, the chair didn't work. It just pissed him off. And then, because MVP saw it and he was upset about the injustice that happened in the ring, him and Shelton Benjamin slid in the ring and started beating the shit out of Mark Briscoe. Uh-huh. See? And then, you know, Private Party came to the ring with the only weapon that won't save them, the steel chairs, and MVP and the Hurt Syndicate, you know, backed off. They're like, okay, you know, we're good now. We're good.
Y'all better run.
Yeah, well, unfortunate for all of them, there's a match that comes on next week. I think it's on Collision, or is it Maximum Carnage Collision or Dynamite?
I think it's Dynamite.
So it is the Hurt Syndicate, the complete Hurt Syndicate with MVP Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley. MVP getting in the ring versus Mark Briscoe and Private Party. So this time they won't have chairs.
I think people I saw people were surprised, but that was like a 3-way, right? And I need everyone to know because he said it himself. MVP still wrestles.
Yes.
MVP is still very good as a wrestler. He is just, you know, he happens to be also one of the best talkers in the game also. You know, multifaceted, multi-talented. He can lead a stable and he can go in there and do work if he really needs to.
Yeah. And because he was literally at Bloodsport.
Yeah, wasn't that long ago either.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. And he was in shape and he was ready to go, man. I think that him and Josh Barnett went like 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I need to watch that. I heard it was really good. I need to watch it.
So yeah, like MVP still wrestles. He's still active. Don't worry about it. The boy's gonna come on point.
Mm-hmm.
So right after this was the World Title Contenders Casino Gauntlet match. Man, let me tell you, this shit was fun, man.
Mm-hmm.
The first two entrants were Switchblade Jay White, and as he was waiting in the ring, who was number 2? The Hangman himself, Adam Page. So, of course, you had that little war going on between them two, them beating the shit out of each other. Right in the beginning, Jay White tried to go for the Blade Runner. Hangman avoided it, and then Hangman picked Jay White up for the Deadeye. Jay White was like, "Oh no," he ran away from that, and yeah, and then just they started hammering each other pretty much until the next person, came out. The next person to come out was Wheeler Yuta, and he's the whipping boy for everybody. Jay White literally just Blade Runnered his ass from the second he got in the ring, dude. He beat the crap out of him, just Blade Runnered him. Um, and like right after that, almost immediately after that, you heard the first part of Swerve's entrance, the Who's House. And everybody's like, oh, the crowd was like, oh my God, oh, Swerve's in here. And then Ricochet's music started playing, which pissed off the crowd pretty much.
Mm.
I was like, good job, Ricochet. You did it. Because, you know what? So knowing the psychopath Hangman Page is in the ring, I would not have played Swerve's music.
That's why he did it. Because you saw Hangman was standing in the middle of the ring, and he saw that music. His eyes lit up. He was looking.
He was ready to murder somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ricochet came out, and he did that fast offense that he did at Wrestle Dynasty. It's pretty much what he did to the Hangman Adam Page.
Mm-hmm.
He got a near fall with the standing moonsault. And immediately right after that, Adam Cole came in. And Adam Cole was super kicking everybody. Just super kicked the shit out of everyone that stood around. The only person that didn't get it was the ref. He got lucky. And of course, like he came in, he did the Panama Sunrise to Ricochet for a near fall. Right after that, the only one I didn't agree with out of the entrance was TNT champion Daniel Garcia. Only reason is I'd rather him just defend his fucking title, like on the show. Instead of like, I don't know, just a slot being lost for him, being in the Battle Royal. But I get it.
Yeah, we're gonna have a conversation about Garcia, I think, because I agree with you. I think we can do it later, but yeah, I agree with you. I also preferred him just because his TNT title match is really good. It's just he's doing too much other stuff.
Yeah, he's doing everything outside of the TNT title. It's like if you're gonna do that, then you don't need the TNT title. The TNT title is the TV title, which needs to be defended every week on TV. Literally on Dynamite. Well, you could defend it on Dynamite and Collision. It's a work title. Do it. But yeah, Garcia got some good offense in. He was blasting everybody. But next up, Powerhouse Hobbs.
Mm.
And Hobbs murdered everybody in the ring. No one had a chance against Hobbs. Like he literally just was picking up everybody and just suplexing the shit out of everybody outside the ring. It was fantastic. And yeah, man, like he did all the suplexes to everybody. I think there was one point where Hangman tried to mock him and ended up getting fucked up anyway. And after that, Roddy Strong came out. He finally made it out this time. The match didn't end before he got out. And he started fighting, and he got his licks in on, Danny Garcia and Adam Cole. Well, no, that was Hobbs, but mostly Danny Garcia and Ricochet. And then the other big man came out, which was Lance Archer. And yeah, everybody died except for Hobbs. It was him and Hobbs beating the living shit out of each other for a minute. And eventually it ended up with Hobbs getting the better of the two by power slamming him. But man, I need to see more of that. I need to see a singles match between these two.
Mm-hmm.
Get the meat chance going. Let's go. And I think the last person to come in before the match. Oh, no. Hold on. So, Kyle O'Reilly came out, did the Dragon Screw to Archer, kind of knocked him out for a little bit. And then the last outlaw came in. Well, kind of. He was coming out, and then him and Wheeler Yuta started fighting. He got the shit. It's Jeff Jarrett's thing is the ongoing joke. He's going to announce he's going to do something, and then he immediately gets knocked out of it. So him and Wheeler Yuta, they brawled all the way to the back, to the back, and it ends up Hobbs plants Kyle O'Reilly with the spine buster and gets the pin, and he is now the number one contender for the AEW championship. And that's going to happen next week on Maximum Carnage on Dynamite. And, right after that, Renee is in the ring because you can't dodge Renee, dude. And Hobbs was like, hey, let's shoot for a second. Let it be told Jon Moxley is the one that brought me to AEW. But next week, I plan on shocking the world. I'm going to make Moxley my bitch. And then he, left the ring. I was like, ooh, Hobbs ain't playing. But this matchup harkens back to the match he got hurt when he was going against Moxley for the New Japan world title.
Yeah, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
Yep. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
I think they did a really good job of making this gauntlet feel huge, because it had to feel huge, right? Because everyone has been talking about they want a shot at Moxley. A lot of people have been like going back and forth with him, right? So it was nice to get this. This was a really good one. They made sure to put Ospreay in a match earlier to be like, okay, guys, don't worry, he's not going to be here. And I think Powerhouse Hobbs was like the perfect call for this, right?
Yeah,
because it's going to be a really good match. We see Powerhouse Hobbs throughout the rest of the week. We'll talk about him more on Dynamite and Collision. It worked out perfectly.
Yeah, and it's making Hobbs more of a force, which is great, right? It's bringing him up even more. It's making him a threat, right? Not just like this, background guy to like other people, which is good. Puts him in the spotlight, and he's taking the reins and running. So, and he looks like a threat. Like, that's a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big dude. Come on, you need him to be a monster threat. So yeah, I think they're doing a good job. I hope this isn't a one and done type deal. And I hope there's more interaction between Hobbs, maybe Hobbs and going against the Death Rider, just Hobbs and anybody, right? Just because there's still that Don Callis thing going on, right? So, he could probably get some shine from that too. So, just want to see it.
I think this will cement him to be like in the main event, right? Like he will be a main event player after this, because you already alluded to it, right? Or not alluded, you straight up said it, that he wrestled Moxley last year for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, right? And at the time, there was a little bit of a curse on the title because the IWGP committee put something on the title saying like, look, you only can defend it in Japan after you do, you go through a New Japan story, right? And something happened, like the voodoo curse was on it. We don't have to worry about that this time. Hobbs is gonna do great. The match with Moxley before was great up until Hobbs got hurt. So I expect the same, and this will definitely keep Hobbs in the main event scene, I believe, It should at least.
Yeah, yeah. It should, because like anytime he's in the ring, the eyes are on him, right? Like people's eyes are on him. Like you get chance anytime he's out. Like it doesn't matter. He could be him versus a small person. They'll do the meat chant. It doesn't matter. And people just want to see that. Like he is a good breakup between the AEW normal, which is the faster, smaller guys, and like big heavyweights. He's a heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to like get that nice breakup in there and have like a power style of wrestling in there.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. So we had a good old highlight package. AEW's doing a hell of a lot more of these, and it's great for people that don't pay attention to the story. And also it's just good in general, just to recap things that have been happening. This one was of the Hook and Christian Cage stuff, and they have a match next week on Maximum Carnage. Kind of hoping this is it for that storyline, and they can go somewhere else, especially Christian Cage.
Yeah, I agree.
And right after that, Ian Riccaboni was in the ring with Jeff Jarrett. And, this is going to be an ongoing thing with Jeff Jarrett. Every time he gets beat, he's going to question himself whether he could still do it. And then something's going to happen. So this time, he's questioning himself. And then MJF comes out. MJF is like, hey, I'll give you a deal. I'll help you get the world title. But in return, all you got to do is give me a chance to give me the first crack at the title. And Jeff Jarrett was like, no. he was pretty much like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then they started fighting. So I guess our new thing is going to be MJF and Jeff Jarrett. They're going to be fighting for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not against. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fine. I feel like I go, I guess not even back and forth with MJF at this point anymore. But he is just fucking long-winded. Like what you broke down, that's all we really needed.
Yeah.
He goes out of his way to just talk, and it's annoying to me. But I agree. I think this is a good place for Jeff Jarrett and MJF to be for a little bit. Let them do this run. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it'll be a good distraction because we're gonna be honest, neither of them needs to be near the world title right now. So
yeah, this is gonna be a short little feud though. It's probably gonna be like a month.
Probably.
Yeah. So up next we had, a thing from Cope, and it is pretty much, Cope saying, "Hey, me and FTR, we're gonna." Well, first he recapped by saying, "Yeah, they threw Darby out. They killed Darby again." By throwing him down a flight of stairs. But just a side note, guys, he's going to climb Mount Everest. That's what he's doing right now.
Yeah, he's doing the training. You got to do like train. Someone on TikTok. I'm sorry. This is on my mind now that she said it. There's someone on TikTok that was talking about like how much it costs to go up Everest and do all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
That is definitely a rich activity because that is ridiculous. It's a lot of money.
It's a rich way to kill yourself.
Yeah. Darby, don't fucking die, bro. Come back.
Yeah, don't climb it and die. Like, just climb it, get there, and then get your ass back down because you need. There's some wrestling you got to do.
Please.
But I feel like, actually, hold on. Let me finish this, and then I'll go with what I feel with the whole Darby Allin situation.
Ooh, okay.
So, now he's like, hey, you did that to Darby. You tried to, mess up FTR. And, you try to say guys like Orange Cassidy didn't have the grind it took to be the world champion, things like that. And he's like, hey, yeah, you can say that about them, but you can't say that about me because I'm a completely different beast. He's like, he had his neck broken, and then he asked for 10 more minutes to wrestle, and wrestled and won the match. If you guys don't know which match that is, that is a match between him and Batista for the World Championship in WWE. Just a fun fact. Because Batista went up and he did a Batista bomb on the outside, and that broke his neck. He did it so hard he broke his neck. The kind of monster that Batista was back then. We had Moxley come out with the Death Riders, and then FTR. Well, he came out with Wheeler Yuta and Claudio. FTR jumped him, so they all started fighting. Mox and Cope started fighting, and Pac, he came out, hit Copeland upside the head, and then Moxley put the Bulldog choke on Copeland. And while he was doing that, Powerhouse Hobbs came out, and the Death Riders were like, "Fuck this, I'm out." They all left. Screw you guys, I'm going home. This is literally what happened when Hobbs came out, and that is an ongoing thing this whole week. Hobbs comes out, the Death Riders fucking scatter.
Low key, like some of my favorite things from this week were those situations, right? Because Moxley Moxley is like kind of, I'm not saying overlooking because overlooking is not the right word, but Moxley's like focused on Copeland. House music comes on, he's like, oh shit, that's right, I got to deal with him, and he runs away like a bitch.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, nope, don't want that. It's pretty much the same look he gives when when he's standing in the ring 1-on-1 with Hangman. Anytime he's in the ring alone with Hangman, he's like, oh fuck, nope, I don't want this.
Yep.
I don't want any of this.
Mm-hmm.
So right after this, we heard from, Mariah May. And as Mariah May was talking, we got the most improved wrestler that is now out of the Soraya bubble, Harley Cameron. And Harley challenged her for the match. She's like, hey, it doesn't need to be for the world title. I just want to challenge you for a match. Get on Hot Girl Graps.
Mm-hmm.
On Collision. And Mariah May accepted, rolled her eyes, and then accepted, and then Harley rolled out of the room. She rolled in on the chair, rolled out. So after this was another damn good match of the night. Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, and Tony Storm. And this is for whoever wins this gets the number one spot in the Women's Casino Gauntlet on Maximum Carnage. And this is the first ever Women's Casino Gauntlet match. So this is pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
So in short, Willow was attacking everybody. Chris Statlander was trying not to attack Willow in the beginning, but they ended up fighting anyway because they had to. There was a moment where like both of them were just in the ring by themselves, and it was like, well, we gotta go. We gotta do the thing. There was a lot of good action in this match, but ultimately, Chris Statlander hits Tony Storm with the Saturday night? Was it Saturday night?
Yeah, Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, Saturday Night Fever, and pins Tony Storm. And so Chris Statlander is your number one entrant to the Women's Casino Gauntlet. Right after that, Tony Storm doing her best acting as Tony Storm. Timeless acting like Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Saying she was surprised she didn't win, and clearly she's not ready. And it was an honor to be out there with Willow and Chris. But for me, I'm just not ready. I'll keep working hard, I guess. I guess it can't be Tony time all the time. Renee was like, I could see like at that moment, Renee was trying to tell her, it doesn't mean you can't be in the gauntlet. You're just not number one.
That reminds me of something I want to talk about super quick. I
Yeah.
saw on Blue Sky a lot of people were confused, which I didn't see this last week because the same thing happened last week about why number one is so important and why don't they do like a number two. For a lot of people were comparing this to the Royal Rumble or like a Rumble, and that's not what this is.
No.
The reason why number one is so important is because that is your guarantee to be in the match per the rules of the match. Like, we're not like, I know people like to be, backstage wrestling, we know blah blah blah, but per the rules of the match, it's one fall to a finish. So at any point, we can just get 1 and 2, and number 2 can pin number 1, and that's the match is over. We don't get anyone else. The rules of the match are first fall to a finish. So it's important to be number 1 because you are now guaranteed to be in the Casino Gauntlet. That's why it's so important to be number 1. There's no reason to like try to get number 2 because everything else from that point is going to be random. And again, rules of the match. We're not talking about who's booked. We're not talking about all the backstage stuff. The rules that they state are 1 fall to a finish, and people come out at random intervals and random times. So that's why number 1 is so important. So just before y'all try to figure out like, why don't they do number 2? Number 1 is guaranteed, so you can have an actual shot at winning the Casino Gauntlet. That's it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Oh, and actually, one thought that I didn't close off was the thought about Darby Allin.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, go for it.
So, I'm gonna have a very unpopular opinion right now.
No, you're not, because I agree with you.
I don't give a shit. It's our show, right?
Yep, exactly. And I agree with what you're about to say.
So I feel like they should just take Darby out completely of the whole Death Rider story in the title picture. Or he could be in the story, but he's not anywhere near the title. I don't think, like, cool, you're going to do your Mount Everest thing and all that stuff. Cool. I think they should build somebody else to be that guy or have somebody else take it from Moxley so it can end the whole Death Riders have the whole thing. And there's another part of the Death Riders that we're going to talk about on the Collision thing that kind of pisses me off too. And it's something that also needs to be talked about, and it's the trios titles too. But for this context, I don't think hey, it's cool Darby's in the feud and all that stuff, and we can make him be the guy that ultimately ends them without taking the title. Right? They lose the title, they're trying to get it back, and then Darby fucks them over, and then they have no way of getting it back. Something like that. But I think he should be gone from the picture completely because there's so many other people just adding more to it than he is right now. And for this story to be able to continue on without waiting, because we need to get past the Death Rider story. It's not hitting. It doesn't hit that well. So yeah, that's my thoughts about it.
No, I fully agree with you. Am I gonna say this nicely or am I gonna not? I'm not gonna say it nicely. Right now, Darby Allin does not need to be world champion.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think Darby Allin will be a world champion eventually, and I think he will be a damn good world champion. Right now, no. Like I don't. I think I've even talked about it before. I don't see why everyone wants him to be the one to dethrone Mox anyway. Like I have not ever been for that. Like you can go back to the podcasts. Like I haven't been for it. I don't think he should be the one to do it. There are a couple other people that I would prefer. And Darby Allin right now is just not that for me. And that's not me saying Darby Allin is never going to be a world champion. because he definitely should be an AEW World Champion eventually.
At some point, yes.
Yeah, right now, no. The car crash style is great. It's fun to watch, but do you want to see your world champion get thrown off of things, get all the shit that Darby does all the time? I don't. Like, you can be an underdog without going through what Darby goes through, and at some point, and I'm going to be that guy. I'm for sure going to be that guy. At some point, someone needs to talk to Darby about what the fuck he's doing, bro. He needs to slow the fuck down. You can do this sometimes for sure, but he gets fucked up every match. And enough is enough. For me, at least. I don't know how everyone else feels, but I'm over the car crash style. For every single match, everyone does that to Darby. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, like, because especially if you're world champion, right? Like, world champion, you can't be... That's supposed to be, like, I don't know. If we were to go in, like, the anime terms, that's your power-up, right? Or any type of term. You're an underdog, and then you win this world title, and then you get this power-up to where you're not taking all these car crash moves or anything like that. You at this point, you're legit, like, anytime you're in the ring, you're a problem. Like, you're the world champ. You're the guy everybody's looking at.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, man.
There is a way to do this without. There is a way to be an underdog without going into the car crash style as a world champion.
Yes,
there's people have done it. Danielson has done it. He was literally AEW champion and did it last year.
Mm-hmm.
So there are other ways. The car crash style is not. The car crash style is not fitting as a world champion style. You can do it every once in a while. Like, if Darby's wrestling like a Bobby Lashley, for sure. Like, Bobby's going to throw him around, right? Like, for damn sure.
Yeah.
But Darby does this against everybody. And at some point, he needs to do something different. Will he be a world champion with this style? More than likely. But it can't be it can't be like a 2-month reign with the way that he's doing this. And, that's just where I am. That's where I've been. I feel like I've been like one of the few people to talk about how like I'm kind of over what Darby's been doing lately.
Mm-hmm.
So, that might be harsh, but that's my opinion. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, and that's what, I completely agree also, because you could do that as TNT champion. Okay. Right. You're the best champion on TV, but you give like this exciting TV match. Every time you're out there, you underdog it up and then you finally get that victory. But as you said, there's ways to be underdogs, right? To be an underdog. You don't have to be Spike Dudley all the time.
Yeah.
Which is the first thing I think of every time I see a Darby match. I'm like, fuck. It's like watching Spike Dudley again, but worse, right? Spike Dudley did get fucked up back in the day, but Darby's like getting it much worse. Like, they're literally like just picking him up and flinging him without thinking about it, right? But yeah, like, there's other ways to do it. Like, shit, Orange Cassidy did it for a little bit, but it's impossible to call Orange Cassidy an underdog anymore.
That international title run is still probably one of the best international title runs, and he did car crash like a little bit every once in a while, but realistically he was just the underdog in all of his matches. And plus they built it up so well to the point where like near the end of that first title reign, when he was like the GOAT international champion, he was beat up, he had tape all over him. Like they made something out of it. With Darby, like I'm convinced that Darby gets hurt every time he's out there, and that's not what I want to see in my world champion. No,
not in a world champion. Like, and even so, like, Orange Cassidy didn't really do the car crash style at all. I'm just saying in general, the underdog, like just being an underdog.
Yeah.
Like he was, a lot of times, like people didn't know who Orange Cassidy was, or then they instantly thought, oh, he's the underdog in this match. But, Orange Cassidy being Orange Cassidy made you believe by the end of the match, oh fuck, this guy's really good and he can win this.
Bro,
Now when you see,
there were a couple times in the international championship run where he was getting flung around. It wasn't a lot, but it was like one or two. But yeah, I'm with you.
Frank Cage or somebody like that.
Yeah, against people where it makes sense.
Where it made sense, yes. Not like, Darby versus Commander and Commander's tossing him around or something like that. No, not something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, man. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully this isn't like an on hold thing for Darby, because I'm with you on that one too. I don't want to see this. I have this for what? Because you have to train for like 3 months, so we probably wouldn't even see Darby for a few months. And
Right.
this Revolution is where this needs to end, at bare minimum. Right? Get 2 more months. Let Moxley do all the stuff he's doing. In by Revolution, this should be over. If it's not, we have a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Just, I totally agree with you, 100%. We're on the same page here.
Oh, for sure. We're one of the few. We're gonna hear about it, but we are the few.
Yeah, well, one of the few that we tell the truth.
Yeah.
Or we tell how we see it, right? Like we ain't paid by nobody, so it don't matter.
No, we're gonna be honest. We'll be fully honest.
We'll say what the fuck we want. Yeah. So like for the final thing,
Let's go.
it should be everybody's main event. I'll carry. He's in the building. It's the main event. I don't give a shit. The return of the cleaner, Kenny Omega. Man, what can I say? Other than it's good to see him back in the AEW ring. That, and I say it every week when I mention Kenny Omega, when he steps in, everything changes. All of a sudden, everybody's work rate goes up times 10.
Yeah, you were talking about it earlier. Like we talked about it like a couple days ago, right? Where you said like everyone was like on another level. I was like, oh, and when I was thinking about it, I was like, yeah, Prophet's right. Yeah, Kenny's in the building. He gonna make y'all work even if he's not in the ring with you.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's just that presence, right? Like he has that presence. He gets in there and he's like, okay, motherfuckers, let's do this thing. Let's give the people what they want. We gotta work, and I guess I'm pretty sure that's probably why they put Ospreay and Buddy Murphy out there first to set the tone of everything else. Right? Like those two ain't gonna miss. You put them out there. It's like putting Ospreay and Pac out there, or Buddy Murphy and oh shit, I want to see that Buddy Murphy and Pac. I'll mention this shit I want to see right now. But man, Kenny came back. He was telling everything that happened. Why he was out so long. Pretty much what the doctor said. He was like, "Hey, you'll be lucky if you wrestle again." And pretty much how he, fought back against that and fought and clawed to get back to wrestling. I'm glad he's back in wrestling. Like, it is so refreshing to see him there. And then, as he was talking and, he was saying, even though I may not be the same guy or do the same things used to be able to do, this new version of Kenny Omega that isn't concerned about money, power, or revenge. I wonder who he's talking about there. This version can prove that he is, and of course you get interrupted by the that Don Callis theme. Kenny did not even wait for Don Callis to talk. He jumped out of the ring and started beating the crap out of him. He's like, fuck you, Don Callis. But unfortunately, when he did that, he had the boys there. They were ready to go. So Archer and Brian Cage came out, started double teaming Kenny Omega, hit him in the Cage punched him in the stomach, and then Will Ospreay came out with a chair. And Don Callis' family, they got out of the ring and got out. And you know, oh, I forgot to mention Kyle Fletcher also came in the ring. So there was that too. But at the end of it, it was Osprey and Omega in the ring, and Osprey was debating whether to knock the shit out of Omega with the chair. But he put down the chair, and then they started talking shit to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And had a stare down. So think about it, guys. We're not only going to get Okada Omega this year, but we're getting Osprey Omega this year too. I can almost guarantee that.
They gonna team together first. I can see it.
Yeah,
I already see it. Like it's already in the cards.
it's already in the cards, man. Like, oh man, this is going to be a hell of a year for AEW. They had that stare down, and then it was immediately announced that next week Kenny's first match is against the Machine Brian Cage. Banger. I'm just gonna say that right now. That's just gonna be a banger.
It's gonna be a real good one.
And have you guys noticed how much Brian Cage has been on TV now? That guy's like on both shows or either show every week now. I think that's great from where he was before, and I feel like it's the difference between saying no and saying yes.
Exactly.
It's that difference, and that's it. But man, at the end of it, there was another little thing where Kenny Omega, he was talking to the crowd at the end. He got to do his thing that he always gets to do because he pretty much does it every night that AEW is out there. He comes out and he'll do that. But he was like, "Hey, who's my first match if they lined it up yet?" Because I think he was talking to Ian Riccaboni. And he was like, "Yeah, it's against the Machine Brian Cage." And he's like, "Oh God." He's like, "Well, that's a sink or swim moment." He's like, "Yep. Well, next week I'm gonna be in the ring again to entertain you guys." And yeah, it's great seeing Kenny Omega back in the ring again. Especially after seeing fucking Wrestle Dynasty. If you guys haven't seen that yet, Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd, what are you doing? Find a way to see it. Watch that shit because it's amazing. $9.99. Get yourself a month of New Japan World. Watch one of the greatest wrestling shows, greatest wrestling companies out there with some of the best wrestling. Just do it. Yes, I'm shilling for New Japan, and I don't care. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just telling you my honest opinion.
You goddamn right, Prophet. Talk about the best company in the world again. You goddamn right, Prophet.
So with that, man, what do you think about AEW Dynamite as a whole?
I think this was a really good episode of Dynamite. I don't really think there were like any misses in it. Like going through it again, it was a really good show. And again, to cap off with Kenny, like it's the best way to do this, right? Like Kenny come do his thing. First off, Kenny Omega is a fucking liar. I know he's not gonna do what he did in Tokyo. Like he's not gonna do what he did in New Japan for sure, right? We're not gonna get that.
Right.
But we know he can do it.
Oh yeah, of course.
But yeah, we're gonna have to do like a Kenny Omega power level scale like we do with Okada to see where he is. I think that's what we're gonna do going forward. But yeah, I think it was a really good show. And we have where Kenny's going. Kenny's gonna feud with the Don Callis family, which I think is a really good call. A lot of people were like, "Oh, scrap whatever story you're doing, put the title on Kenny Omega." Relax. No. Relax. Please relax. Like, I know I love Kenny too. Like, Kenny is one of the reasons I watch New Japan also. Like, Kenny is also one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I fully get it. Let Kenny do what he's gonna do, right? You don't need to rush him to the world title. We don't need to do all that stuff. Like, it's great that he's here. He's gonna do his thing. Kenny doesn't need the world title right now. Please, everyone, calm the fuck down.
Yeah, for sure. Like, just calm down, people.
But yeah, that's it. I really enjoyed this episode of Dynamite.
Yeah, the same here, man. So with that, let's get to that good old collision.
Man, what are we gonna do with Collision? Collision, I think, was also a really good episode this week. For those who don't know, it was in Athens, Georgia, and around Atlanta was like frozen. Like a lot of planes were getting canceled. A lot of people weren't able to get there. Like Mariah May and Harley Cameron drove like 8 hours. They kept on saying like Mariah was in the back of a limo, which is hilarious. But people were driving in. A lot of people couldn't fly in. So a lot of the stuff that we got on this was just kind of on the fly from people who were there. And with that, this was 90% a great show. We'll talk about that 10% at the end.
We'll say 95.
95. We'll give you 95.
I'm not going to give Jericho the satisfaction of a whole 10%.
Yeah, 95. Yeah. We're going to start off with a match that I enjoyed. It wasn't super big for me, but it was the Rated R Superstar Cope versus Big Bill. For this match, this was definitely a more slower paced match. AEW needs these kind of things. Slower paced. Big Bill was beating the hell out of Copeland for this. He was the big body in this match. Although big body Cope was almost up there with him. Like Cope's like forehead was on his like chin, bro.
Yeah.
Two big ass dudes in there scrapping. That's what this match was. A lot. This was a really good showing for Big Bill, by the way, too. Like he did a lot of work in this match. He carried a lot of this match, being the heavy, being the big boy, was in there doing what he could do against Cope. I'm not gonna talk about all the spots because it was kind of like a slow burn match, but Copeland did win the match. He did a little bit of cheating though, which he had to cheat. He hit Big Bill with a low blow after like distracting the ref. The ref kind of got turned around a little bit, hit him with the low blow, which, again, 7 foot tall. Got to find a way to cut him down somehow, right? Hit him with the low blow. Copeland hit him with the impaler and the spear.
Uh-huh.
That motherfucker kicked out at 2.
Yep.
I usually don't like the shock face like thing in the camera. This was perfect for it. This was the perfect use of the shock face into the camera. Perfect. It didn't really matter. Again, Copeland had to cheat a little bit more. Big Bill, I think, was the one who took the turnbuckle pad off the turnbuckle anyway.
Yes.
Copeland ended up using it against Big Bill and getting the pin, getting the spear and the pin for the win. Like I said, it was a slow burn match, but I really liked it. Afterwards, Jericho and Brian Keith were very upset. Very upset. They go in. They try to attack Cope. FTR comes in, and we got a 6-man brawl right now. They're going crazy, right?
Yep.
This is where we are right now. We're getting Rated FTR versus the Learning Tree, which is a very good trios thing to get the trios championships away from the Death Riders. Like you talked about it a little bit. You like touched on it. I would love to see Rated FTR win those trios championships. I think it would be different. Like it would be. Plus, we just need those titles back. It'd be great.
Yeah, they need to be shown on TV.
They do. You said said earlier that you had thoughts on the trios championships. I think now's a good time to talk about it.
So one of the things that fucking bugs me, right? They had all 3 members of the trios champion of the guys that have the trios titles. They were there wrestling different matches, like back to back. They wrestled 2 different matches. Pac had his match, and fucking right after that, Wheeler Yuta and Claudio had their match.
Mm-hmm.
Why not have them do a trios match for the title, like a trios title match? Just defend their fucking title. Like, none of this invisible bullshit that they're doing with the world title, trickling down. Fuck that. Let's get them in there defending the trios championships, not making it an afterthought, and have an actual title. If they're not going to show the world title, at least show the damn trios titles.
That's oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, man. Sorry.
No. I interrupted you. You're all good.
Oh,
The trios champions is also part of the reason why the Death Rider story just isn't working right now, right?
yeah.
Moxley said he wants to change AEW, but again, why does taking away these titles do anything for that? Like, at least with the world title, we have an idea where it is. You know what I mean? It still needs to be shown, but at least we have an idea that it's out there with the champion, even if he's not holding it. The trios championships are just gone. Like, they're not in a suitcase, nothing. They're just not around.
Yeah. And on top of that, you have everybody from the Death Riders on the show. You have the trios champions on the show. The trios champions need to be defending the trios titles anytime they're on the show. Because, like, for me, that would show you have these trios champions mowing through people, say you have that, right? For me, that's telling you, oh, these guys are a unit, they're a badass unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they're just, it's Pac doing single stuff, Claudio doing singles and tag stuff, and just bitching around Wheeler Yuta, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Wheeler Yuta's just bitch boy. That's it. And, if that's all we're going to do with this, let's get it on somebody else that can elevate those titles. Because they're at a low point right now. And they always have this point where, oh, cool, they're at a kind of a high point, and then they fucking crash and burn. We need to start getting these trios titles in a spot where they're a spectacle that you want to see. And it's only happened once or twice. So they need to be, if all three of the motherfuckers are on the show, they need to be defending the trios championships. That's it.
And, I'm going to talk about those two matches before we get into the two fantastic promo segments. Just knock those out back to back. Because I have more thoughts about this too, like you were talking about. We had, the first match was Pac versus Commander. Very good match. Mm-hmm. It was a fun match to watch, right? It was kind of short, as expected. It wasn't going to go that long. Pac did win after, like I said, a really good, maybe 8-10 minute match. Was very fun. Right? Some shit happened. We get the Claudio's music, right? Claudio comes out with Wheeler Yuta to set up their match between the Outrunners and Yuta and Claudio. They do their match as expected. We figured that the Death Riders are going to win that, right? This easily could have been one match. They could have combined this and gave all this time to one trios championship match.
Yes.
And I know people are going to be like, oh, no, but there's no build to the story. Who cares? Who cares? At this point, when's the last time they even defended the trios championships?
Yeah. And also, some titles don't need stories. I'm just saying.
The trios titles are definitely one of those that do not need a full story.
No.
But yeah, man, it definitely just doesn't work. The two matches were good matches. They were fun to watch, but for real, no one expected Commander or the Outrunners to win. I saw people complaining that they didn't. You knew that they weren't going to. No, they're not beating the Death Riders right now, right? With the story that they're telling, they're not beating the Death Riders right now. So for sure, just put them in a trios match. Just make it for the championships. That definitely could have been a thing. Because they came out back to back. And also, during the match for the Death Riders and the Outrunners, Pac just left. He just walked out. A lot of this doesn't make sense. They definitely need to figure this out. Because we need that's why like I said, I've given Jericho a lot of shit, and I'm going to give Jericho more shit before this podcast is over today, for sure. But the feud between the Rated FTR and Learning Tree could be a trios titles feud if you really wanted a feud.
Yes,
easily, right? They just had a trios match last week. Rated FTR had 2 trios matches last week, right? So we could just say they're the pseudo number 1 contenders. So they're already going after Death Riders anyway. Make the match. We don't need to wait. Make the match. Just give us the trios match. Give us the trios championships back, and just let them go do trios matches. I don't understand why we have to go through this whole thing because of the Death Rider story. The story that isn't working. But that's all I got. I'm not gonna. We harp on the Death Riders a lot because it's just not a good story right now, and yeah, I don't know. I was gonna ramble some more, but I'm not gonna ramble. I'm done.
Yeah, we've been harping on it for weeks, right? People are just now catching up to it.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say.
We've been on it, right? So it's nice to see that people are on it. But that's why we were saying earlier, this needs to end. Earlier would be better, but it can't go past Revolution.
No, not at all.
Shit, it really could end at the Dynamite Grand Slam in Australia, but we'll give it to the quote unquote major pay-per-view.
Right.
We're gonna move on from that. You know what? I'm actually gonna bring it back down to 90 because now that I'm talking about that, I think that also isn't great for this show. The matches were good, but yeah, I agree with you. They definitely should have been a Trios Championship match.
Yep.
But going from there, we're gonna go talk about two fantastic promo segments.
Yes.
The first one we're gonna talk about is the one that happened before the Death Riders segments were happening. Hangman Adam Page had some poignant things to say to Christopher Daniels. Hangman in this maybe a minute and a half, maybe a minute 30, told his whole story about wrestling, his story between Christopher Daniels, and why he is doing what he's doing right now, and why his mindset is the way that it is. I'm not going to talk about the whole promo, but it was just a masterclass in building up a match and telling your story as a wrestler. He was talking about how he's known Christopher Daniels for 14, 15 years. He talked about what happened, and he talked about how he didn't want to be the person that he was last year, where what was happening between him and Swerve, which people were like, Swerve is always talking about Hangman, even though Hangman's literally the one who said something about Swerve. And the weird Hangman people have warped this into saying, Swerve can't stop talking about Hangman. Neither here nor there. It's just weird, and I just wanted to mention that. Y'all are weird. Hangman ends this by saying that he wants Christopher Daniels next week, Collision Maximum Carnage, in a Texas death match.
It's such a fucking extreme. It's like, hey, you want to throw hands with me? No, fuck you. It's a death match now. It's like, wait, what? Huh?
Hangman fucking started it. Hangman was the first one to put hands on CD, and all CD's been trying to do is help him. But
Christopher Daniels is like, wait, I'm trying to help you. What? So I retaliated.
But again, all the Hangman stands, because they are insane, they don't live in reality right now, are like, oh, yeah, Hangman should do this. Hangman should kill CD, because why is Christopher Daniels hitting Hangman? Like, bitch, he did it first. Yeah. Christopher Daniels has been defending himself.
Yeah. He just got sick of it.
But yeah, we're going to get that. It's going to be a really good match next week on Collision.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a burner, man. That's gonna be an excellent match.
God, it's gonna be good. And then the other one, this promo segment happened right after the Death Rider segments. We had Powerhouse Hobbs talk to us about Jon Moxley. Basically, in 30 seconds, he said, Jon Moxley, ain't shit you can do to me. We've been hearing what you've been saying. You want someone to step up, here I am. And every time I step up, you run away. Maximum Carnage, I'm gonna make you my bitch. And people are like, oh, Hobbs such a good promo. Yeah. Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Almost like he's main event caliber or something. I don't know.
The Book of Hobbs. Come on, man.
Yeah, it was fantastic. This was a really good segment for Hobbs too, because it just cemented him again as a threat, and we're gonna get more of this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he just cemented us as a threat, and it was fantastic.
Yep.
Anything on these two promo segments?
No, they were both fantastic, man. Like Hangman finally. So what the Hangman promo did was, it was the why. It was like, I've been doing all this stuff all these years, but I'm going to actually tell you the why of why I'm this way and why I'm doing this and why I'm not going back. We finally had it.
Nah.
So that was excellent. And the Powerhouse Hobbs one is like, just like you said, cementing him as a threat and showing, yes, he does have those skills to, you know, put up a promo and just be a threat. Like he's, you know, he's a Titan, dude. He's walking in there. He's about to, oh, not a Titan, a Juggernaut. He's gonna walk in there. He's gonna do business. No matter what you do to him, he's gonna do business to you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they were both fantastic.
Before I talk about the next match, I'm actually gonna go a little bit off order, and I'm gonna talk about Christopher Daniels' response to Hangman.
Yeah,
because that was also fantastic. Daniels, he was still trying to reach out to Hangman in this promo, saying, "Bro, I've been here for you. I've seen what you've been going through, and I've been trying to help you. But you talk shit about me. You said I've done nothing in this industry, and that's not true. So I'm gonna give you a history lesson. Last year might not have been my best year, and just because I'm not an EVP anymore does not mean you can disrespect me, and I am tired of being disrespected. I have a long list of achievements," is what Christopher Daniels said, "and beating your ass at Maximum Carnage is just going to be added to my list of accomplishments."
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Daniels sold his side of the story perfectly. Like, this was great. AEW's been doing a lot of this lately, and I love every little bit of this.
Yes, they're finally doing it, right? Like it's that one little piece that's been missing. Like if you look at the, you know, couple of years, right? It's that one piece that's been missing.
Mm-hmm. I don't think, I can't remember when they were doing this consistently. I don't think they were ever doing this consistently. Actually, now I think
They weren't. Not until last year. They like middle of last year they started doing it consistently. You know, I would say right around when Mercedes Moné came.
That's when they had those like new riders come in too.
Yep.
Look at that. But now we got to talk about hashtag Hot Girl Graps. Because before the Daniels promo, we had Mariah May versus Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron came out with her new music that she performed, and I guess also has a music video for, by the way. So if you haven't seen it, you definitely should.
So I'm just one observation I had. Okay. When Harley was coming out and she came to her whole thing, there was one tag team that she reminded me of.
Ooh.
The Inspiration.
Yeah.
Like the whole like, I don't know, like the whole aura of it and all that stuff. Like I was like, oh shit, she's got a little Inspiration thing going on.
Not a bad team to take from, because we were there when they debuted in TNA, weren't we? Impact.
We were.
Yeah,
we were.
Yeah. They're fun. They were fun.
Yeah, they're fun.
I'm sad they're both not wrestling anymore.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. I don't even know what to talk about for this match. It was definitely a good one. A little short, but they had a really good match. The one thing that I want to talk about, for real, that I want to talk about, is not what happened in the match, but I want to talk about the crowd reaction.
Yes.
Harley is no longer a heel.
It's impossible.
She can't be a heel anymore. Right? She has earned the love of the audience. And very naturally, this wasn't Mariah even trying to do anything. Mariah did turn it up a little bit later in the match, but they were just cheering for Harley. So the one thing that I want, and I thought about this since yesterday, is whenever Saraya comes back, because I know she's out for personal reasons, that hopefully everything's okay and nothing is super crazy for Saraya and her brother. They're both out, right, for personal reasons. When they come back, I would love to see like a little mini feud between Harley Cameron and Saraya, just to really give us the breakup that we need, and we need Harley Cameron to have that win. Because I think it was talked about a few weeks ago, but Harley Cameron has not won on TV yet. She has not won a TV match yet. It would be dope if the first one was Saraya. At least I don't think she has. She might have. I don't know. But AEW TV, I don't think she's won.
No, not at all.
So it would be dope whenever Saraya comes back. Like I said, hopefully everything's okay with her and her family. But I would love to get like a little mini feud between Harley Cameron and Saraya, to give Harley Cameron her first win and cement herself as a babyface going into the rest of this year.
Yeah, like, man, she really she took off, and it's just, in general, it's just her personality, right? She's hilarious.
Yep.
Like everything she just does shit, and it's just funny as hell. So there's no way, there's no way she can be a heel, man. Like, she's just naturally a babyface. And as that match was going, like in the beginning, the crowds were, the fans were engaged and stuff, right? But when it started heating up and getting towards the middle, they got engaged even more and were starting to chant. Not starting, they were cheering for Harley the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's she got over on her by her own will, by her, by her doing her own thing, and it's awesome to see, right? Like, and she's, now I don't see, it's not possible for her and Saraya to be back as a group again.
No.
She can't sit second fiddle to Saraya anymore. She's her own thing now. So I want to continue to see her do her thing and continue to see her like do her stuff. But hey, you can obviously tell they're putting some backing behind the, Harley Cameron, because, they have her on commercials now, and they have her, her new entrance and stuff is not, is not cheap, right?
Yeah.
So they're backing her, like they're really backing her. So it's great to see. And yeah. This match was good. It was hot girl graps.
Mm-hmm. As you expect, Mariah May did win. But just echoing what Prophet said, like, you don't just get to have a non-title match with the world champion. That's just not a thing that happens all the time. You don't just get that, right?
No, not at all.
Harley earned that spot. Harley has been doing fantastic. She's been in the ring. She's been doing the work. She deserves everything that's happening to her right now.
And she was keeping up with Mariah May the whole time. Like, it wasn't like she was getting, carried or anything like that. When Mariah May turned up, she turned up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, and she was showing that she had that second gear and that she can go too. So that was, it was good to see. It was a good match.
Next up, we had Brody King versus a victim. Death. Brody did start by like let him hit him. Didn't work. Either way, we can go through the match, but I'm not going to. Gonzo Bomb 1, 2, 3. Match was over.
Yeah.
Afterwards, before we talk about, because we're gonna talk about this together, because we talked about this a little bit earlier. Lexington was backstage with Brody King, and Lexington asked him like, "What's going on with House of Black?" Brody was like, "Oh, this is a confusing time." Julia is there too, by the way. And before, here we go. Before he can finish his sentence, Adam Copeland hits the screen, looking Brody right in his eyes. And what we talked about earlier continues to happen. Just add Copeland to that list. We didn't add him earlier because we knew this was happening, but Copeland, that list of like Ospreay, Finley, Like everyone who is talking about House of Black has been talking about them saying like, I have a lot of respect for you. It is your time. Copeland even went back because remember, part of the story with the House of Black and Copeland was that Copeland was trying to recruit the House of Black. And by House of Black, I mean not Malachi.
Everybody but Malachi.
Everybody but Malachi. Like that, part of the feud was that. And, you know, the darkness, the mist, all that kind of stuff. But a big part of that feud was Adam Copeland, was Cope trying to get Buddy and Brody and Julia on his side. Mm-hmm. Which was brought up here again. Even Cope was like, it's time for you to take the reins. And it's time for you to run. So another example of another top star in wrestling talking about Brody specifically and Buddy, but Brody saying that it's your time to shine. Any thoughts on the Brody King segments?
Yeah, the the match was a complete murder. only yeah, it wouldn't be any other way. But yeah, the backstage segment is like, hey, time for you guys to like get away from Malachi. Like, get the fuck away from that guy. You don't need him. And you guys should, within you three, be the House of Black, pretty much, or House of Black or House of whatever, right? So yeah, it's just more of like, hey, you don't need this motherfucker. You guys are great yourself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we will see what happens. I don't look at stuff. I don't know when Malachi is leaving, but he's definitely for sure wrapping up. And like I said, every time, like we've been saying, every time that they're going to be on TV, I'm pretty sure something like this is going to happen. So they're building up the house right now without Malachi. So we'll see where that goes. Next up, we're going to talk about the main event. And by the main event, I mean my main event, not really the main event. But for the TNT Championship, Daniel Garcia versus Katsuyori Shibata. In the match that should have been the main event. In the match that I want to see Daniel Garcia doing going forward.
Yes.
Him and Garcia and Shibata had a barn burner of a match. Mm-hmm. They went out there. They did their technical style. When they started hitting, Katsuyori Shibata was striking as he does. I don't want to talk about the match too much, but it was just fantastic. It was a great back and forth match. Shibata looked great. We will talk about once we talk about like all the things that are happening in New Japan. We're gonna talk about why that 5-minute match and why New Japan keeps on doing that to Shibata is not working. But again, that's a story for our 4-hour New Japan show that we'll do at some point.
Yes.
Garcia had to steal this win. And by steal it, I mean he used his technical prowess and was able to get Shibata down for the 1-2-3 with a jackknife pin. Because he wasn't gonna knock out Shibata. Shibata was on his ass the entire match.
Oh yeah.
And even Matt Menard said it. Like Matt Menard on commentary was like, feels like we got away with this one. Which you did. But hey, look, that's wrestling, right? Like we're gonna talk about it. That's the Zack Sabre Jr. style. That's the technical style, right? Mm-hmm. To have a finishing move, you just gotta go get him with wrestling, get him down for the theory of wrestling. But overall, it was a really good match. What do you think about the main event?
This main event, the TNT title main event, yeah, it was good. Like Shibata was playing the tank, man. He would get hit and he'd just walk right through it and just start beating the crap out of Garcia, man. It was a fun match, and it was, two pretty much like sound technical wrestlers going at it. Like a submission wrestler and a technical wrestler going at it. It was fun to watch.
Fantastic.
I do want to see like at some point maybe a Danny Garcia versus Zack Sabre Jr. match. That would be fun.
Zack would bend him into a goddamn pretzel.
Yeah, he would.
Zack and Hechicero wrestled yesterday at Battle in the Valley. Fantastic match. If you haven't seen it, you should watch that Battle in the Valley show. There's a couple matches specific that you should watch. It was fantastic.
I actually have my New Japan World tab up, and I have Battle of the Valley in the chamber, ready to go.
Let's go. It was a really good show.
Yeah,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I said I can't wait to watch it.
It's good. You're gonna enjoy the shit out of it. It was really good. I guess we gotta talk about it. I don't have a choice.
Let's get it done.
Yeah.
We should have did it at the beginning, so we made this one the main event.
Yeah, we probably should have, honestly, because we had another what was it? Yeah, we had another Learning Tree versus Ray FTR match at the beginning, so we definitely could have. We had Dax versus Chris Jericho at the main event. I'm not gonna hold you. I was already ready for Battle in the Valley. I feel like I don't know how the post of the internet was, but I feel like all of us were annoyed that this was the main event after such a good episode of Collision.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about the match. I'm gonna talk about that fucked up ending though.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck was supposed to happen, but I think Jericho was supposed to hit Dax with the title, like supposed to land on the title. That didn't happen. Dax looked confused. Jericho looked confused. Dax had to get up and like push the referee back so Jericho can hit him with the title. Like, it was just sloppy as shit.
Yep.
And after a night, including the Big Bill and Adam Copeland match, the Big Bill and Cope match, I wasn't a big fan of that match, but I still enjoyed it. Even after that, like, this was just sloppy. Like it just was not a fun match. Like, they did the collar and elbow tie up for like 3 minutes at the beginning, and they were running around it's like they kind of spit in our faces. If I'm gonna be completely honest, if I'm real, it maybe be a little over dramatic. It feels like they were spitting in our faces a little bit, especially after the match that we had between Garcia and Shibata, and the matches that we had all night. This was not a good call for this to be the main event.
Yeah, I feel like if we were gonna have this match, it shouldn't have been the main event. It should have been earlier in the card, in my opinion, and we should have ended with the TNT title match.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been the better way to go, but we ended with this match, and it just wasn't good. It was not good.
It wasn't.
It's probably the only singles match miss I've seen of Dax, and I'm not sure if it's because of Jericho. Actually, I'm probably sure it's because of Jericho, because like any other match I've seen Dax Hardwood do in a singles match, they've all been pretty fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
The boy's been he could wrestle. He could go. So I don't know. I think it's one of those ones where it's kind of a mismatch in a way, or just didn't go the way they thought it was going to go. There was something somewhere was miscommunicated just throughout this match, and you could see it. It did not feel good.
No, it really didn't. But this episode of Collision ended with a big brawl, as they normally do. I'm not even gonna say in order about how all this happened. The rest of the Learning Tree came out. The rest of Red FTR came out. Death Riders came out to try to beat up Red FTR. Moxley comes out as a surprise. I didn't even know he was there. He was there, but he was there. Yeah. But we end with Powerhouse Hobbs. Mm-hmm. This is the part I'm actually going to talk about, because this was really good. Powerhouse Hobbs comes down to the ring. Moxley has a chair in his hand, right? Because he was about to hit Cope with the concerto. Powerhouse Hobbs stopped him. Powerhouse Hobbs has beat up the rest of the Death Riders. He mows through everybody to get into the ring, by the way. Completely blows by everybody. Mox hits him in the back with the chair, and Hobbs is like, "What the fuck do you think you're doing to me?" And Mox was like, "Oh shit," and ran the fuck away.
He's like, don't want no piece of that.
He jumped the barricade and everything. But he was staring. Wheeler Yuta, again, as the sacrificial lamb, got yoked up and thrown through the table. I don't think that table was supposed to break, but Hobbs broke the chef because it collapsed.
It imploded, dude.
It was the front of it still was standing up, and it just Yuta fell right through it. I'm pretty sure that thing wasn't supposed to fall, but it did. Lord have mercy. But yeah, and we got like a little thing where Moxley was like looking at Powerhouse Hobbs from the background. He looks scared as shit, and Hobbs is just looking down at Yuta, then turns around, looks at Moxley, and we that's our last shot of Collision before it ends. What are your overall thoughts on the main event segment, and Collision?
Okay, main event, blah, whatever. I don't care. The segment at the end, though, yeah, that's where the good shit's at.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the funny thing, right? So some of that stuff that Hobbs is doing, it makes me remember of two wrestlers in general that have that were the big power wrestlers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Henry kind of had that vibe, and the Big Show, where they come out and it's like, oh fuck. The other people are like, oh god, he's gonna kill us, isn't he? And they're like, yep, he's gonna kill us. And that's the vibe I'm getting with Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't know if because Big Show's the only one there left, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's something where he's doing some mentoring with Hobbs, because he's definitely getting some mentoring for somebody. It's between him and maybe Taz or somebody like that, right? But you could see it, and he's taking it and is molded it, and he's a monster now. He's so good. I love seeing Hobbs when he's on the screen. And this whole end segment of him just mowing down people is just great. Poor Wheeler Yuta, though, he got murdered. But the other one, though, if Wheeler Yuta was not there, it was going to be Marina Shafir. Because she jumped in front of him, and then she kind of she had that look of regret because she wasn't as fearless as she normally is. And when he grabbed Wheeler Yuta, instead she ran. So, yeah, overall, that end segment was good. Save the main event, whatever that main event was. We're not even going to talk about that.
Mm-mm.
But the end segment, yeah, that was it. The rest of the show, the rest of Collision, fantastic. I enjoyed it. It was it's Collision. It was a solid wrestling show. I don't really have any complaints other than the actual main event match. The main event segment after the match was great. The main event match sucked.
Yeah, bro, I agree with you. I think this was a really good episode of Collision. It really was. And the fact that this kind of happened last minute. I know a couple of these matches weren't planned to happen. So
yeah,
shout out to everyone who was able to make it. Hopefully everyone in Atlanta's all good, because it was frozen in Atlanta, bro. So hopefully everyone's good. And yeah, like I said, overall, very good episode of Collision, minus the main event.
And also one more thing, hope everybody in Atlanta's good, and also hope everybody if you were caught up in the fires in LA,
man, yeah,
and those big fires, my heart goes out to you guys, and I hope everything, for even for people's houses burned down or things like that. I hope you guys get back on your feet soon, and I hope everything goes well. My heart goes out to you, and anything you guys can do to support those guys, do what you can, because that is it's a massive tragedy that happened out there in LA. So just thought I'd mention that because it doesn't get mentioned enough, and people in a few weeks people are going to try to forget it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But that's a very scary experience, just in general. So I hope most, if not all, people get out unscathed, and are able to rebuild and continue up with life.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna echo that. Ditto for sure.
Yeah.
You have any other thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, I have no other thoughts.
All right, man. Take us home.
All right, guys. If you got this far, thank you. Thank you for listening to the show. We very much appreciate it. And if you liked what we said, tap that like button, guys. Ain't gonna hurt you. And also, as you're tapping that like button, think about what you're gonna say in the comments, man. Come on. I know you guys got some opinions. Let's start talking it out. Let's get a conversation going. And of course, let's hit that subscribe button. Oh, wait. Let me set it up real quick. I need you to do one thing.
Oh, yeah.
I need you to get up on that top rope. Take that elbow pad off, because I know you've been holding it this whole time, waiting for me to say this. Take that elbow pad off. And I need you to drop that elbow on that subscribe button. And right after that, roll over and hit the bell button. And pin it for the 1, 2, 3. Because by doing that, you will get all of our shows, which is this show, Off the Top Rope, that talks about pro wrestling, the Command Grab that talks about video games, and also the OVA that talks about anime. And thank you very much once again, and we're out.
Peace.